I went a little overboard. Over the past few weeks, I've been working on the Jungle Queen. Let's just say she's pretty strong. Okay, maybe she's really strong. Okay, maybe she's the hardest boss in the game strong, but this isn't a problem. Her real challenge stems from her stats and her order in the main progression of the game. In context, the final boss is still harder because the supporting enemies pose more of a threat and it can be healed by the caster. As is common with most games, balancing is really tricky. It'll become more apparent where the Jungle Queen fits in as I develop the rest of the bosses, enemies, and areas. Alright, now that we've addressed the insect in the room, let's talk about her attacks. Unlike the previous bosses, the Jungle Queen actually has 3 attacks, which I'm referring to as the homing projectiles, the Splodling summon, and the egg attack. Not the best names, I know. I started with the basic mechanics for each, and then I doubled back to add obvious tells so the player can anticipate and dodge them. With the homing projectiles, the Queen spawns 6 attacks. The spots on her wings light up, and she sequentially prepares and fires them. These projectiles launch away from the boss, then curve towards the player. Over time, their homing ability gradually wanes until they inevitably hit something. This attack is most effective in open areas as the boss is quite big already, and the projectiles need enough space to avoid premature impacts. The second attack is the Splodling summon. 3 Splodling creatures are spawned from the base of the Queen, and they stage themselves around the Queen. They take turns targeting the player and finally dashing towards the player's position. These can be very deadly as they deal 2 damage and they come right at you. Finally, we have the egg attack. This massive explosive covers her otherwise exposed weakness of attacks from below. When choosing an attack, the Queen has a 10% chance to drop an egg if the player is below it. Otherwise, it's a 50-50 chance between the other 2 attacks. If she chooses to drop the egg, she charges up her powerful thrust and hurtles it towards the ground below. The explosion also does 2 damage, so avoid standing right below her. Outside of attacks, her movement follows the same concepts as the other flying enemies. Wander about if the player is out of sight, charge in if the player is far away, fall back if you're too close, and fire at will when the spacing is just right. As a general update, every boss plays a death effect now. It serves the dual purpose of giving the player more feedback for their accomplishment, and adds a slight delay before removing the health bar, allowing it to deplete before vanishing. Similar to the boss effect, I've added these little skulls to the enemies, which I think adds a nice layer of juice and feedback. With the addition of the Jungle Queen, I've officially hit the halfway mark for my goal of having 1 boss for every biome. Like I said in the last video, I've got plans for the remaining bosses, so stay tuned if you want to see how the rest come out. Since last time, the Steam page has officially gone live, so go give it a wishlist if you're interested in Caves of Combat. Also, the Discord community has started to build, so thanks to anyone who's already joined and for getting more involved in the community. The link is in the description for anyone who's interested. I'm super happy and grateful for the reception of the game lately. If you want to stay up to date on the development process, hit the subscribe button for more content like this. Thanks for your continued support. Until next time.